So right off the bat, I'm going to apologize for the lighting out here in my garage. It's kind of a cloudy day outside, and my garage door's shut because if I have it open and I've got the camera pointed that direction, then it just blinds it out. So this is the KIEL table again. What I did was I came out here earlier and took some Murphy's oil soap, I think it's called. Let's walk over here, keep from getting you too dizzy here. Yeah, that, and wiped it all down. And then I went over it with this Kramer's Best Antique Improver. When you do that, sometimes you can bring out the stuff without actually having to refinish much, and it did actually what I was hoping to do. As I was saying earlier in the other video, the cabinet itself is actually in really nice shape. I mean, it needs a little touch up here and there where there's some marks and stuff, but you got to realize this thing's 90 years old, so it's going to have some marks, and it's not going to be perfect. My house is full of antiques, and I think it's a beautiful table, and I wanted it to go on the house and look good, and I want it to play good, so I'm planning on restoring it electrically. Now, see, now we're getting where you really can't see because it's the dark. Walk around this side. So, other than the top, I'm not going to do anything to it. I might touch it up some, tighten screws up. You know, obviously it's got character, but stuff like that I can probably touch up with a marker. You know, one of those stain markers, stain a little bit on the legs. Or I might not worry about it because, again, it's 90 years old. So, I mean, it's really in good shape. Now, the top, as I was showing earlier, it was very thirsty. It really liked that oil soap as well as the Antique and Store Improver. So, again, I'm still going to have to fix this, cut this straight, and put a new piece of veneer on it. And then all this, I could try and cut it away, but I'm not going to be that particular with it. I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill it in, right? And as you can see, the way this thing was finished originally is it was darker blended to lighter. So my plan is just go ahead and strip this top, because this is really rough through here. It's a very dark. Go ahead and strip the whole, you know, with some lacquer thinner, just clean it all up. Take that all off and fix the little gouges here and there that are in it. Fix some of the cracks that are in it. And I was looking at the top earlier and I was like, you know, there's get the angle just right, there's a water ring right there. And I could try and get it out. I could sand it probably until it freaking finally came out. There was a dark spot here. You can still see a little outline of it, but it actually cleaned out really nice. It was some sort of a paint spill or something. I got it up with a little of the Antique Restore Improver. And then, you know, it's got little things that's happened over the years to it. But you know what? The more I thought about it, I was like, you know, it's just character. This thing is 90 years old. There's a good divot there that I'll fix. Somebody had already spliced a piece right here. They actually did a pretty good job. Kind of blends in really well. In fact, it looks like it's original. I'm not sure what went on there. It looks like it was pieced in there, but if you notice that green right there, it follows it, and that green right there, it follows it. It looks like it had a cigarette burn here. And, but anyway, I think what I'm going to do, if I can keep my fingers out of the camera, like I said, go ahead and strip it with lacquer thinner. Go ahead and get a darker walnut toner and hit this edge. And then once I get the piece fixed here and this filled in here, then I'll take that toner, the same toner, and just kind of lightly fan it so that it fans from this dark edge into the lighter edge, kind of like the rest of the cabinet, and that'll hide some of the little blemishes, like that little spot. It was a little darker right there, right? I'm not going to go in far enough to hit the cigarette burn. I'll go in far enough to catch all this, because when I fill this, it'll need to be stained, or at least toner applied to it. So I'm going to keep all the rest of this kind of the way it is. When I get it stripped off with lacquer thinner, I'll see what it looks like, but I'm planning on pretty much keeping it as is, and once I get the toner around the edge fanned in, I might just shoot the whole thing with clear. Now, if it's quite a bit lighter, right, because this almost looks like it's been stripped to me, but if it's quite a bit lighter, then I might go ahead and go over it with something very light, and then do a satin lacquer finish on the top, and try and keep it as original as possible. And you know, even the water ring, I don't care, leave it there. It's in the wood, and I could try and sand it out probably, but why? I mean, this has had a life, right? So anyway, that's that. And then I did do a little bit of cleaning inside, not a lot, but a little bit. You can still see some of that restore. It's got a waxiness to it, so that's why it's still shiny there. It'll soak in. There's the top, actually. The bottom actually turned out, or the top turned out pretty good. You can see a little heat from the radio there that, you know, on each side, that over the years discolored it. A little discoloration here from where it sit down on top of that, right? But I'm not going to mess with any of that. I think I'm just going to leave all that be. Might shoot a coat of satin on it when it's all said and done, since I'll have the top done too. It'll be off. But I'm kind of really happy with the cabinet. Now, I'm going to put you on a tripod, I think, because this thing is way too heavy for me to get into my house at this point. It's just the chassis in this is very, very heavy. The speaker's very heavy, so that overall makes the table very heavy. It's not a light table to start with, and you get all that in there, and it's just heavy. So I'm going to put you on a tripod, and I'm going to see if I can lift that chassis out. I was looking to see how it was fastened in there, and to be honest with you, it didn't look like it was fastened at all. It looked like it was just sitting in there. So I'm going to take a couple pictures of this wiring and stuff, and then I'm going to put you on a tripod, and you can watch me lift it out, and we'll see how that goes. Sorry for the bouncing. Okay, I have you guys on the tripod, and there's a little bit of wobbling going on right now because it's not actually a tripod, it's a clamp-on deal that holds the phone. So I think I've got it all in screen here, but so let's see here. We got a cord here that is very long, actually. And there's another cord in here. I'm not quite sure what that is. This is a very, very, very long cord. This cord appears to be, my goodness, at least 10 foot long, maybe a little bit longer. And it's like the original cord. You can see here. Hopefully I'm showing you in camera. That I think might be a newer adapter. I'm not sure, but this part of the cord's original. This one looks original as well, and you can see it's the cloth cord. So this one I'm just going to sit down for a minute. This one I'll wrap up and set on top of the chassis. Alright, and the speaker's plugged in. So we'll unplug the speaker. Do that over there. Got a little black wire there, got a wire here. There's wires right here that I believe is what these are. Now, that being said, this one's going down into the leg, and as I showed you guys before, there's like an outlet. I don't know if you can pry out of camera. There's like an outlet back of that leg. So it looks, I mean, it's going to, the one says short antenna, the black one. The white one says ground. So I don't know. It looks like that's where those were cut. But I'll have to figure that out. Okay, I think everything looks like it's loose. This thing is very heavy, so bear with me here. I'm going to figure out the best way to grab this so I don't drop it or hurt anything. Or damage the tuner. It looks like it's clear. Oh my goodness, that's heavy, 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 heavy. Oh goodness. Wow, okay. So yeah, it looks like it just sits on some mounts in there. That's probably when had I known that, when I transported it home, I would have just lifted it out. Because as it was, it had rode on the lid there and had worn that a little bit. My bad. The speaker looks like it has two blocks that hold it in place with flathead screwdriver. I'll show you that, and then I'll go get a screwdriver and we'll lift that out. See if I can do this without bouncing too much. There we go. So that's where I set the chassis. That's an old Craftsman saw I've got to restore yet. It's like a 1962. It's like in 100 pieces. And the bucket's a bunch of the pieces. Anyway, I digress. I got it for $10 at a yard sale. Alright, so here it is. Very dirty in there, obviously. I'm going to blow that with air compressor before I bring it in the house. But I find it very cool that the final inspection card is still intact and in very nice shape in this KIEL table. There's a better shot of that. But yeah, so there's the little rubber mounts. Okay, we're back. Got me a screwdriver. I'm sorry if you're bouncing. Screwdriver. See if I can get these little blocks out of here and hold the speaker in place. I'm surprised it didn't fall out from the weight of the speaker. Me driving with it upside down. The wood still looks pretty nice underneath that. Actually, it looks like a pretty nice piece of wood that's sitting on. Other than being as filthy as it is. Those rubber mounts that the radio sits on look like they're nailed on. So I'll have to, yeah, they are, and they're also hard as a rock. So yeah, definitely gotta get those new. That's the blocks. You can see they're routed to hold that speaker in place. Shoot, let's see if we can lift the speaker out. Big and filthy as it is. I already know it's all torn up. It's going to have to be reconed or fixed. There we go. Pretty bad. But nothing we can't repair. It almost looks like somebody stuck a knife in it in a couple spots down here. You see that? I don't know if I'm in camera or not. But yeah, it's pretty, I mean, it's brittle, very brittle. Again, it's paper. So, very old indeed. So, we'll have to redo that. I've got two speakers, so at least if the tone on the other one's not as bad as this one. So, I think some coffee filter and some, watered down glue, we can give it some tension and some sturdiness to it. That's what I usually do. So I guess that's about it. I'm going to shut this down and I'll see how heavy this is. It might be light enough I can actually get it in my house now. That's not bad. I actually can get it in my house now. So once I find out a spot where the wife wants it, and I'm going to leave it out here for a couple of days because that antique restorer has a very powerful smell to it. And she won't want that smell in the house. So a couple days after it's had time to air out here, I think I'll carry it in and we'll go from there. So that ends this video. Thank you for watching Gregg's Vintage Workshop.